States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Give me a push.
Madam President, in accordance with the New Jersey Open Public Meetings Act, adequate notice has been provided to the Star-Ledger, the Jersey Journal, and the public at large establishing the date, time, and location of this meeting. May I have a roll call of those present, please?
Roll call, please.
Here.
James.
Present.
McCown.
Here.
Here.
Present. Here.
Here.
Welcome to the Municipal Council's hearing of citizens. Only those individuals who have signed up to speak by the closing deadline will be permitted to speak this evening. When your name is called, please step to the microphone and state your name and address for the record. You will be given 5 minutes to speak. On the podium, you will see a small timing device. When you begin to speak, it will begin to count down the time, and the green dome will light up. After your 4th minute, the yellow dome will light up, indicating that you have 1 minute remaining for a summation. When you reach your 5th minute, the red dome will light up, and an audible sound will begin indicating that your time has expired. Please look forward and speak into the microphone. We are recording these proceedings, and if you turn to speak to the audience, we may miss part of your statement. Please address all questions to the chair and not to individual council members. The first speaker is Elizabeth C. Salerno.
Hold it just a minute. Please start all over again.
Turn the Oh. Thank you. Elizabeth C. Salerno. I live at 243 East Kinney Street in Newark.
Yes.
Okay. Good evening, City Council members, members of the public. Thank you for allowing me to speak this evening. I'm here as a deeply concerned homeowner, constituent, and taxpayer. I'm concerned about the state of our trees in the city of Newark, and the problem is only getting worse. We barely have a tree canopy. Trees are dying or are old. We have poor air quality in the city of Newark due to the airport, industry, traffic, no trees, lots of concrete, and the trees that we have left are being taken down with no plan for replacement. Climate change is real and is absolutely impacting this city and state. We've had one of the warmest Januaries in recorded history. The health of the residents that live here is important and must be addressed. Residents are getting asthma. My wife is one of them. We've been here for 7 years and she's never had it before living in this city. Trees are one of our best defenses to slow or stop the damage in climate and clean our air. Here are some of Newark's specific challenges. Our London plane trees, sycamores, are huge and are being removed because they're lifting the sidewalks. We take them down immediately, no questions asked, without looking for any solution, that we keep them in place or replace them. Our calorie pear trees, while beautiful, are weak trees and are prone to breaking. The city is not planting trees. The tree care unit only removes them. The city relies on a nonprofit agency, the New Jersey Tree Foundation, to plant and replace trees. The New Jersey Tree Foundation will only schedule tree plantings if there are 10 viable spots and they have homeowner permission. And they do not have time to just serve the city of Newark, as they serve the entire state of New Jersey. The city should not be relying on them to plant and replace trees. PSE&G is over-pruning and killing our trees. Homeowners in Newark think trees are a problem and hassle and will not grant permission to have a free tree planted in front of their house when they actually have the space to do so. Homeowners are placing concrete and tar in tree pits, which harms and kills the trees by not allowing them full access to water. The Code Enforcement Department and other Newark agencies are not holding developers accountable to actually plant the trees that they have added to their approved development plans. In the East Ward, where I live, there are many sites where you can see the places that the developers were supposed to plant trees and maintain trees, but they've placed concrete over these pits without consequence. So they were in the plans, No one went back to check, and no trees were planted. Residents are taking their trees down of their own accord without the city's permission, which is required, and they are not fined for these actions. There's no code enforcement for that. The Newark Police Department, Public Safety Division, Roman ENG, and regular citizens staple flyers to trees, piercing their bark and allowing disease, moisture, and insects in. This damage is done with impunity. Stump removal is a slow process. Stumps are dangerous and unsightly, and many times when the stump is successfully removed, the city just pours concrete over the pit without replacing the tree. The ordinance that was passed by this council, increasing the distance between a person's property and a tree pit to 5 feet, has eradicated places where trees could have been planted had the ordinance stayed at 4 feet. We have power lines all over the place, and yet we keep planting trees under them, and then they get pruned and destroyed by PSE&G. There doesn't seem to be any one entity in charge of the trees, as there seems to be several different agencies within the city government that has some hand in it, in the removal and the planting. So no one is in charge, no one unit is in charge, and that means nothing is being done because, you know, it's bureaucracy. That's incredibly hard when no one person is in charge. We do not have a city forester, a tree plan, or a shade tree commission or committee to address all of these challenges, and the result is the gradual and consistent loss of Newark's trees. A hotter Newark, a Newark with terrible air quality and sick residents. Many of your constituents want the following. I know many of them from all over the wards, all of the wards. They want a better quality of life. They want to live in a city that's beautiful, that's covered with trees that they can breathe in. They want clean air and water, and yes, trees, clean water too. They want pretty tree-lined streets.
Thank you, Ms. Salerno. Your time has expired. However, if you would like to have further conversation, submit your comments to the clerk.
Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate that.
Next speaker, Mr. Clerk.
Victoria Borges.
Are you Victoria?
No, you just said Mr. Carter.
No, Victoria.
No.
Victoria
No,
Borges.
Victoria Borges. Not appearing.
Naeem Carter.
Mr. Carter?
Yeah, that's him. Okay, I'm gonna have to crouch over.
Lift the microphone.
Lift the microphone.
Okay, all right. Hi, my name is Naeem Carter. To verify, I live at 8 Hawkins Court, Newark, New Jersey. I'm 18 years old, and I'm a youth community organizer for the ICC and also the secretary for the Higher Court Tenants Association. And I'm here to talk about combined sewer overflow prevention. Now, flooding isn't new in Newark. As a community leader, I'm tired of seeing every time it rains, our streets get flooded, and the flow in our sewers gets so high to where there's toxic water in our streets and homes. Now, the city, you guys, are addressing these issues, and a couple of alternatives you came up with, I liked some and I disliked some. I liked the alternatives in regards to green infrastructure and inflow reduction. Now, there's some I disliked. The alternative about underground water storage and disinfection using parasitic acid. But my least favorite was the alternative about potential PVSC expansion, and the reason is because that the expansion, which is the PVSC, is in the back of my home, is my backyard. I live about a mile away from it, and it will cause more bad smells, and it will cause more overflow if a storm was to occur. Thank you for your time, and hope you guys listen.
Thank you so much. Would you like, yes. Would you like to leave your comments with the clerk's office? And, because we'd like to respond.
Madam President?
We're delighted to see a young man bringing a real issue
Madam President.
Yes, Councilman Quintana.
Madam President, what Mr. Carter indicated about Passaic Valley, can we extract that and send it to the
Yes.
Executive Director of Passaic Valley? And would like that to be answered to
Yes.
us.
So ordered.
At the same time, Passaic Valley, some folks have been talking to us about the raid and about their bills. And I've asked Passaic Valley, as a commissioner, that we need to have a presentation here in City Hall about what is the charge? Why is the charge? There's too many questions that are being raised. And too often, people are coming and raising the question, whether it's the overflow, whatever it may be, a sludge flood, and all the flood waters and et cetera. So we need to address this issue. So I have asked the Executive Director and the team to do a presentation before this governing body and the citizens of Newark.
Thank you. Mr. Carter, before you leave the chambers, please, to the two ladies who are sitting in the front row, if there's a phone number where we can reach you. Councilman Quintana has raised a discussion that may benefit you, and we're very proud of you. Next speaker, Mr. Clerk.
Nancy Mincy.
She's here.
Good evening, Madam Chairperson and all council members. My name is Nancy Mincy. I am an East Ward district leader, and I'm the proud Tenant President of Higher Court with this young man as my secretary. I want to address the combined sewer overflow issues and flooding, and I too like the green infrastructure. I feel that it will provide more jobs in the community. I also would like to see more community meetings met, more people involved in our communities. I'm concerned about, as we go forward with a plan, that the things that are happening down south in the southern states will not happen to us. Houses are being flooded and things of that nature. Well, I would also be concerned about the parasitic acids that would destroy the infrastructure. And I asked that we continue to meet. I would like to see the PBS expand in our community so that it can catch more of the overflow. So with that being said, I'd like to go forth with more meetings in our community. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much, Ms. Mincy. Also, the director of the Housing Authority is in the chambers. Next speaker, Mr. Clerk. I know she's here. I saw her earlier.
Tanisha Garner. Is that Ms. Garner?
Good evening, council, and good evening, Newark residents.
Good evening.
My name is Tanisha Garner. I live at 55 Oxford Street, Newark, New Jersey. I'm also an Ironbound resident, and I also want to speak upon the combined sewer overflow. So you already know that the Ironbound is an environmental justice community. We are plagued with many industrial companies and corporations. And especially with this sewer overflow, when Hurricane Sandy hit, it rushed in, it overflowed into many people's homes and also businesses, and it affected the quality of life. And we are dealing with the air quality, we're dealing with the water quality, we're dealing with the soil quality. And one thing, I know you just mentioned, Councilman, who's going to foot the bill? And especially with the PVSD, it's coming from different municipalities, and are they going to be able to pay for the infrastructure that they have to do here? And another one is the flooding. You already know about the flooding. So it's like, what are we going to do? How are we going to clean the catch basins? Because many of the catch basins are full with trash. And if that would be a way to clean, that would definitely help to flush out how the water can go into the systems. And another thing, why can't the other municipalities take care of their own sewage problem? Maybe that will also help with the lack of sewage that is coming through our systems. And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, Mr. Clerk.
Earl Best.
Not appearing.
He's coming.
Where is he? Oh, there he is.
Doctors in the house.
God is good.
All the time.
Council members, I would like to take 30, excuse me.
Yes.
Street doctor, better known, Earl Best, 245 Orange Street, Newark, New Jersey. I would like to take 30 seconds of my time is to moment of silence for two generals. One is a female and one is a male. The male is a street warrior. His name is King Samuel Nash. It's real bad. He's in Beth Israel. The next one is a female, Joanne Williams. So I just wanted to take a moment of silence, 30 seconds for them two, and all the prayers is needed, them two generals. Thank you so much. The clerk, thank you, this for them. Very briefly, as we know, this is Black history, and you'll never know it. You know, you be looking for certain things, and it's like, come on, man. All these other holidays, everybody know it. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take some of my time is to, before you ring the bell on me, drop something. But before then, is that I'm ready to shut a lot of sites down. I started with 2 already. It's one right across from City Hall. No disrespect to Miss Dina, but to the IHOPs and all that. So I did no investigation or right to speak, very briefly. So I went and did some research, and I respect her, right? But don't get angry when I'm trying to get the so-called American Negro that's been here for so long some of these jobs. I'm tired of seeing everybody coming in except us, and we ain't working. So I've been quiet. When I say quiet, I'm talking about to give them a little chance. So y'all gonna be seeing it. We gonna be shutting them down. You don't eat, we don't eat, you don't eat. So I'm just letting the record reflect. All right, let me close out with Black history. Johnny Cochran, right? I love you, Johnny. Thank you. Carter G. Woodson. Carter G. Woodson, if it was, I thank you and I apologize for the so-called American Negroes that don't recognize y'all. So tonight you will. This is going to be quick. Carter G. Woodson, thank you and I apologize for my people for not recognizing you for the Black History. It was Black History Week, and then you changed it to a month and 28 days or what have you. Benjamin Banneker, I want to apologize and thank you for allowing us that if it wasn't for you, it wouldn't have been no Washington, D.C. They was looking for paperwork. He had it in his mind. Marcus Garvey, I want to apologize and thank you for your saying when you said you done killed the lion, but the cubs run loose. Up, you mighty nation, you can accomplish what you will. I want to apologize and thank you, Elijah Muhammad, by saying, stand up, black man, and do something for yourself. I want to apologize and thank you, George Washington Carpenter, when you took the peanut and made 300 products. I want to thank you and apologize to Harriet Tubman. I would be buried in my grave before I'd be a slave. And I would have freed more slaves only if they wished they were slaves. I want to thank you, Muhammad Ali, because when you used to get in the corner before you fought, you used to pray to God. Do you know how many people started praying because you sacrificed and did that? I want to thank you, Vernon Johns, right, for your saying when you say anytime you see a good fight, get in it. I want to thank you, Booker T. Washington, that your little saying and apologize when you say when your brother or sister is down, lift them up. You're not lifting them up, you're lifting yourself up. I want to thank you, Thurgood Marshall, the first Supreme Court Justice, when you said one thing about telling the truth, you don't have to remember what you said. I want to apologize and thank you, Frederick Douglass, when you said agitate. So I had to look that up. Agitate is the wash in the washing machine. What the wash meant, the agitate get, that corner. I want to thank you, Rosa Parks, even though you was the second woman, right, for not giving your seat up. And I want to thank you, J.A. Rogers, and this is for the rest of the audience who's watching. Please get this book, J.A. Rogers, Volume 1 and Volume 2. Closing out with a sister named Fannie Lou Hamer. I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Next speaker, Mr.
George
Clerk.
Tillman Jr.
I did see him.
Good evening. George Tillman Jr., 165 Newton Street, Newark resident, local business owner, Construction Compliance, LLC. Tonight, I came to ask the council to assist me with gathering the necessary data and information necessary so that not only myself, but other Newark residents can know what is the current state of the affirmative action in the city of Newark. As Brother Street Doctor kind of touched on, research is very important, and also transparency. I was able to go to the clerk's office to get some information regarding the council committees, affirmative action, the tax abatement, economic development, and workforce development. I was able to get only the schedule for the tax abatement committee. Councilman James, thank you for providing that. But if the other committees, the affirmative action, economic development, and workforce development could provide their schedules, I would like that as well. I also requested the meeting minutes from those committees from the years 2017, 18, and 19. However, no minutes were available for those committees. I also requested the Affirmative Actions Office Yearly Project Compliance Report for 2017, 18, and 19, and it's not available. In those reports, I wanted to see Newark residents' participation, minority participation, local contractors from Newark, MBEs, WBEs, and DBEs, but there's nothing available. So if we could, I don't know how we can get that information to the clerk's office, who's responsible for getting that information to the clerk's office, but I would like to obtain that information just to have the transparency. Also, I requested the mayor's office report, yearly affirmative action compliance report that's submitted from economic development, purchasing, and engineering, just to see where those departments stand as far as contracts and who they're giving these abatements to. With the enormous amount of projects and tax abatements in our city, it's important that we keep transparency and know where we are as far as the state of affirmative action, so that if there are problems that exist, we can address those problems. I also requested the compliance report for the first source hiring for the same projects, tax abatement projects in Newark from 2017, 18, and 19. The first source hiring agreements are also attached with the affirmative action plan. There is not only there's compliance that is involved in the construction part of the project, but also after the project is done. So I would like to have that information, but it's not available for 2017, 18, or 19 regarding first source hiring for the companies. If, I don't know who does those reports, if there's any department, or how can I find out that information? Also, I requested the minutes from the Affirmative Action Review Council for 2017, 18, and 19. There were no minutes available for that committee. I also requested the yearly compliance reports from that committee, that commission for 2017, 18, and 19, and there's no reports available. Also, I requested the tax abatement compliance record for yearly reports for 2017, 18, and 19 for the companies that have received tax abatements. There's no reports available to know if those companies were in compliance or not. So I'll be back to, I have some more things I would like to address, but I just want to get a better transparency.
We got it.
On our state of affirmative action.
If you leave your contact information with the two ladies sitting in front with your requests, we will get back to you.
All right, thank you very much.
And it's a pleasure to see you.
Always,
Everybody
always.
started smiling.
Always.
Next speaker, Mr. Clerk.
Lisa Parker?
Good evening.
Good evening.
As we celebrate Black History Month, I'd like to first honor Adam Clayton Powell Jr., who taught me what it was for your elected to represent your community. Let us remember those elected that served our community for the betterment of the people. The people are not being served by our representatives. The community came out regarding the expired and expiring tax abatements. Why are you giving St. Michael's a tax abatement when we used to collect $5 million a year for their property tax? That's resources coming here. Why are you agreeing to that? To date, homeowners that they had their taxes expire. We had a meeting last night. Homeowners were talking about how they were saddled with $8,000 worth of tax that they have to figure out how they're going to pay. It is the political will of everybody up here to serve the people in the community. You continue to give LLCs, donors, friends, family, all types of tax abatements when you could have the political will to extend tax abatements for who you want to, because you did it on 1060 Broad Street and some of the other places, and every time we come here and look at this agenda, tax abatements are given out like you're giving out candy in a store. We asked for a moratorium until the council could address how we could remedy this problem. But to date, we haven't got any resolve. Public safety, we got 300 officers retiring between December and March of this year. You have no plan to replenish those 300, and yet we can't get patrols in our community. The police are short-staffed. We got vandalism, robberies, and shootings every day. Now grandma can't even go to ShopRite because they had a shootout there. Somebody got shot in the face. We don't need the security and the police that's inside ShopRite to protect produce. We need y'all to protect the people. We don't need, why are we being victimized by crime and there are no solutions in providing safety in our community? If you continue to not preserve and protect our established communities, you are not serving in your capacity. You continue to extend all of these tax abatements, and yet we are the families and the people that have established these neighborhoods for outsiders and people here that are your friends and donors to come into our community. It's wrong, and no answers. Pay attention, Mr. Gonzalez. Lastly, it is hypocritical of this administration to stand with Amazon for unfair labor practices when you have not honored a 1% raise for the fire and the police. What's up with that? You could give yourselves 38% increase retroactively and a contract from 2018 you have not honored. That's what you call unfair labor practice. So I need the mayor to stop doing all these photo ops when it doesn't mean anything if the people aren't getting what they need, the people that come out here and put their lives on the line every day. I want to have a moment of silence because this is what the people get every time they come before you with questions about how you could better serve in our community and its constituents that pay your salary. People are sick and tired of you showing up, handing out your literature every time you come to campaign in our neighborhoods, and yet we don't see you after the election is over, or when we come to this podium, nothing is being done. Our streets are dirty. We have a public safety crisis here in Newark.
Thank you, Ms. Parker. Next speaker, Mr. Clerk.
Felicia Alston.
Not appearing.
Shalom Thomas.
Not appearing.
Darrell Taylor.
Not appearing.
Nyla Daniels.
Ms. Daniels?
Ren. Ren, can you get
Who's coming to the mic?
Ms. Dock, your name was not yet
Okay, well,
called.
go ahead, Mother, call it.
Is Naima Daniels present?
Yeah, I told you that. Now call me.
Not appearing. Mr.
Sandra
Clerk?
Dock.
Peering. Cassandra Dock. Well, 920 Broad Street. First, I'd like to thank God for allowing those black men and women that came before me, giving them the strength to endure all the physical, mental pain and abuse that they endured so that I could come here and say what I want, when I want, and however I choose to do it. I want to thank those non-black people that were there too. But I just want those that did all that to know that some of these ninjas are still the same. I say it all the time. You know, sometimes when you're reading, or sometimes when you see it on TV, and they talk about slavery, even though it's dramatized, it just gives you an idea of how it was. And you know what? It shows you that every time we were mistreated, a darky was there. It's still here now. One sitting right here on the second floor, still doing the same exact thing. So let me talk about the light-skinned one, the 1% presidential candidate. Good for him. Good for you, Cory Booker. Let me give you an example of what I mean. Malcolm X Shabazz High School, by way of the white woman, Cammie Anderson, he tried to either take down the picture or he tried to take the name off of Shabazz. But it took a black woman, Kathleen, rallied up that alumni association and got it back. But guess what, Martin? Yours is gone. See, your school used to be A Street when I went there. Then they named it after you, Martin Luther King. Now guess what it's called, Martin? North Star. By way of a white woman, it's gone. Yeah, Joe, gone. North Star is called. And we sit here and we allowed it. Do you think that the chairperson of Education, Senator Teresa Ruiz, would allow Rafael Hernandez to be called something else? Do you think that she would allow Marin to be called something else? No, I don't even blame her. But you darkies, you sit up here and you allow it. It's like this darkie, second floor. God, please tell me what was he talking about on Monday at that meeting. I wish you'd do me a favor, Raz J. Baraka. Stop calling these meetings, and if you're going to continue to call men's meeting, you sit down. Because what are you saying to them? You got these men really thinking that you are trying to make a way for them to be developers. You talk about and you brag about you doing the most amount in terms of the dollar amount, in terms of development than anybody else. Maybe. But then, who is doing it? Who's the developers? It's not darkies. Go ahead. Ride around, Raz. Take a couple of the men that's at your meeting. Ride around. Show them. Yep, this, that, maybe Shaq. I'll give you that. I'll give you that. Probably. Just like my girl over here, I love her, but I know the little short white man that's helping her. It's okay. It's okay. But I just want you doggies to know you're doing nothing in terms of making sure the black person, so don't even talk about black history. Just stop. Don't talk about it. Don't go to no more. Just get that darn poster that he got in the front. Just knock it down. Just knock it down. What will his history be? What will your legacy be? Now you got that project that's going up, Beth, and you invited minority business women to come. God knows I missed it because I tried to get my dark behind down there and I missed it. Watch it. Whichever minority women that's chose for that, I'm willing to bet my life, but I can't because my daughter needs me. Whoever it is, it's just her name. Because the real owner of the company that's going to be chosen, we know what color they are. We know what color they are. Same thing with another project. This Negro, I don't know if it was that Negro or one of my other Negro friends up there, put out a flyer about the affordable housing that's coming up, I think, in the South, John. You might do. Did you put that out, or did the darkie on the second floor put that out? And then, whichever darkie did had the nerve to say, they want developers. I don't care. Go get them from another state. Go get the darkies from another state. Ryan ain't from here. The white ones you got developing, they not from here. So
Thank you. Your time has expired. Next speaker, Mr. Clerk. Your time has expired, Ms. Dock. Ms. Dock. Next speaker, Mr. Clerk.
Donna Jackson.
Coming like we slaves again. I've been slapped by the police director. Now this stuff.
Next speaker.
I guess I'll be.
Mr. Clerk.
Ms. Jackson is on her way.
Don't make no doggone sense.
Appearing.
Where are my copies?
Good morning.
Donna Jackson, 128 Smith Street. Wonderful way to start off and finish out the council with Black History Month with the police walking to escort someone away from the mic. Because that's what we have turned into here. When somebody will walk away from the mic at the precise moment you want them to. The officers shouldn't come up here and do nothing. Nothing. They better be glad I'm not their union president, because they wouldn't even be in here. The disrespect that you have given them to not even have a contract still, and even in the contract, you only talking about 1%. I wouldn't walk y'all to a car. I wouldn't ride Raz nowhere. I wouldn't ride MIDI nowhere. They wouldn't get no protection. Executive protection bill, what, up to $11, $14 million? Y'all think that's okay? Y'all think that's okay? Anibba, I know if you was the mayor, if I was the mayor, we don't need all these people, because we walk in our community. Louis, you ain't need all that. I don't know what executive protection was doing for the whole year you was in there. What that bill was like, $12, Lou? I mean, you ain't had nobody riding you was around, you was still driving, Lou. Eddie, I know. What's the problem? What is this? But we got 3 people mowed down today by a stolen car on 14th Ave and 12th Street today, right after school closing, run over, and then the police acting like crazy people trying to catch the person, flying 60, 70 miles an hour, making U-turns in the middle of the street, right at the ShopRite intersection. With all them kids out there, Science High School, North Star, Central, all our babies out there, and they flying, trying to catch, I don't even think they know who, because after they hit the people on 12th, they got out the car. So who was they chasing? It looked like they was chasing themselves. And I love the officers, but that right there can't happen. Because if somebody would have got hit, then what y'all be saying?
Nothing.
Another lawsuit, which brings me to my next part. How much money we paying, y'all? I know the legal fees. I ain't talking about legal fees now, because y'all just done broke the barrier for the country. Y'all outspending Trump, and I'm ashamed to say that.
Say so.
But how much money are we paying for y'all to keep all these lawsuits at bay? How much money we paying every week? What we paying for Willie Parker? What we paying for Judge Powell? What we paying for the employees that got lawsuits against y'all because y'all think y'all can suspend people for 60, 90, 120 days just because y'all feel like it? What we paying for that? What is costing us? And I know in the end, when they get an attorney, y'all losing the case. So how much money we spending? How many more attorneys we gonna hire? How many people we got working in the law department? You know, because the residents want to know. The people at Riverview Court, the people at Pennington Court, y'all think they don't know no better? They know. Because we talking about taxes. We talking about raggedy streets. Their tires get blown out too. They ain't just concerned about the sewage. Because when they lose their car after the sewage run over, like the people down on Riverview Drive, over in the North Ward, because we won't talk to that landlord at that cemetery up there to fix and give them any relief, what we doing? Why we got so many empty housing units out here when y'all got 18,000 people on the list? That's for everybody. Why? Why is those units still empty over there on South 13th Street, South 12th Street, by Westside Park? Why they empty? We got 18,000 people on the list, and you done kicked 10,000 off illegally, so it's probably like 50,000 people really on there, because y'all ain't never called me. I've been on the list since like 83. Never came to my name, so I know y'all doing something wrong, been doing something wrong, particularly for y'all that been up here all this time, because your friends and family got to get on before me. Your friends and family got to get on before the other kids to work this summer. So now y'all down to what, 1,500 for the summer? 4 hours a day? Who y'all impressing? You still meeting with the contractors, y'all still doing side deals. Y'all don't listen. What y'all think, 'cause you leave Newark to go to lunch, we don't see y'all? Okay, come on, please. People take their phones out and taking pictures of y'all. We got the evidence. We getting ready to help the feds because we tired of y'all snitching on people to keep y'all from going. We tired. Invest Newark, on the back of this thing on page 28. I know good and well, I'm just going to close with this. I mean, I know the feds in here, and I know y'all going. Some of y'all got good attorneys, so you ain't going to go, but the rest of y'all going. This land bank entity, Invest Newark. I know good and well this ain't the company that's under indictment with these people up here in Orange, that's connected to the people at the county, that's connected to people that work for this city. I know good and well this company that's under FBI investigation in Orange, New Jersey, and the county of Essex, and the city of Newark, ain't the company that y'all getting ready to name with the boy over here in the corner. I know this is not the same company. I know we're not about to do this here. The Palm Real Estate, this is what we're about to do? I'm just gonna caution you, and I want the officers to come up, because that's not a good image to leave, always having the officers do something when you don't respect them.
Our next speaker, Mr. Clerk.
Opal R. Wright.
Not appearing.
Deborah Salters.
Appearing.
Good morning. The Deborah Salters, City of Newark. Most call me D.
Mr. Clerk. I'm sorry. A buzzer. Thank you. I wanted you to have your full 5 minutes.
Thank you. Most call me D, Super D, if you're my seniors. You know what, I'm gonna talk to my Newarkers, my people, my seniors, my young people. I really didn't want to come tonight. I really didn't want to come. And I was like, my spirit would not rest. So I'm here. The lawsuits that we're talking about here, we see another legal company here, Dakotas, and these people that are all listed before on something else, not to exceed $200,000. Another one, LLC, Paramount LLC. They're getting a 25-year tax abatement for 20 market rate apartments. So that's a year and a quarter for each apartment. Something's wrong with that. And it's market rate, so it's not affordable. Not cheap, but it's not affordable for the residents. Black History Month. There's an excellent documentary out, Who Killed Malcolm? I would caution you or encourage you to watch it. Don't just watch it, but watch it. Thus, my hashtags every time I come up here. Not tonight, because I'm gonna do something else. But that's why I use the hashtags. Black history's a mystery for those who don't know. It's not the color of your skin or an afro. How come you want to be loud, screaming, yelling, talking bad, acting tough? You're proud to be black, Jack, but are you black enough? You need a skill and a will to build. You know the deal, so why don't you get for real? And education is essential, brother. So check your history and you'll discover he gave love to enhance us. The stars, the sun, and the moon to romance us. Rays shoot through the city, enough to keep you looking good and pretty. Wake up, my friends, you're worse than dead, just sleep. It ain't the skin you're in, it's if you're deep. Black History Month. So when we use cliches that Malcolm uses or that Harriet has said and they've done, and we do not live up to that capacity, we diminish the capacity of what they lived and what they've done. So it is up to us, if you don't have any skin in the game, if you're not willing to put anything in the fight, don't use the cliches. Don't do it. Because you're making it less than what it is. These people gave their lives, blood, sweat, and tears. What are you giving? What are you giving? Or are you giving in to your fears? And that's what most of us are doing. Stop apologizing for the truth. Stand up with the truth, because the truth stands alone. Don't be afraid of it. Stand up and be with it. Also, when we talk about the election that's coming up, I'm not so much concerned about the presidential election as I am the freeholders, the Senate seat, and in 2022, the mayor and the council. Stop discussing what Mary, John, and Sue are doing in the court over here and over there, but look in your community and look at the people who are doing things in your community and decide amongst yourselves that if you don't see somebody's name on that ballot that you like, write somebody in. That's the purpose for that button. We have the power to make the choices needed for our communities. What are you waiting for, people? What I need from my people, my Newarkers, The same energy that you use when they give out free candy and costumes and free turkeys and free toys, that same energy that you stand in line for hours for, please use that same energy for the election time. Because we need to make change. We are the ones that's going to make the change. It's us, nobody else. We can't wait for someone else to do it. It's us together collectively that's going to make the change. Also, we have, there's a cliche, better to go with the devil you know than the devil you don't. And a lot of us use these cliches and don't know where they come from. That's an Irish proverb from the 1300s, and we've adopted that thing. So why go with the devil at all? And that's what people use when it comes to election time. Oh, I'm just going to go with the same old people that I normally go with. No. How is that working for you? Going with the same old thing all the time. Is it benefiting you? How are you living? Is it really a better Newark? Because again, I am Newark. You are Newark. He is Newark. Are we benefiting? Or are the people who in power benefiting? It's time to make a change, people, and we are the ones that have to do it. And it starts with the revolution of our minds.
Thank you. Mr. Speaker. I'm sorry, Mr. Clerk, next speaker.
Thomas Ibbing.
Not appearing.
Ataboma.
Appearing.
Good evening, Council. Good evening.
State your name and...
Atan Buamaha, 54 Leslie Street in Newark, New Jersey, a district leader in the South Ward. Madam President, before I go on, I would like you to put order, respect in this house. It's been going on for so long. Today, I'm going to speak about education. Now, I understand the city of Newark, we control the education system. But if I look at how our boys, our sons and daughters, the way they dress to go to the school, and their behavior, they are not going to fit in the corporate America. We need to do more for a structure. I spoke to my councilman for many times, and I think last year I touched bases with our councilman at large, Eddie Osborne, about how we will make the institution work. If we can do it, there's nobody can do it. How are we going to do it? I suggest to Councilman James, we need to put a boot camp on every high school. To motivate them, to let them know when you go into the corporate America or going to the world, this is how you need to perform. This is how you have to dress. Education gives us a good citizenship. Education gives us good police officers, firefighters, and so on and so on and so on. We cannot sit down. It's been too long. Our education system is going high, and I recommend a good job for the council and the mayor. For almost about 2 decades, we are top, second in command in the whole United States. Most of us doesn't know, but I read and I know. But we need to do more. How are we going to do more for the rest of the new ones coming? We need to change the formula. 2020, the new century. If we don't do more education, when you all retire, who is going to take all of your place? We need to motivate them to stay in school, not on the corners, not the drugs. We cannot win about that. If we don't do it, we don't have no leaders. We elect you to be our leaders. I alone, you alone, it takes the whole village to raise the child. So the community come together, we can make a difference. How are we going to make a difference? By you folks to make all this institution and make all these rules. If we can force those who are in the Middle East to eat a burger and a pizza, we can ask them to do do that because we want to give them the good tools, we want to give them the leeway, the leadership, so when you all get old, they will be able to take the legacy about all of us here today. Madam President, this is a very serious issue, and my councilman James will be my witness. I always hear him about that over and over. So I believe from today, maybe the council or whoever is the head of education will have a dialogue. If they call me, I will be happy to come and give more details to see where we will take it to the next level. And before I go with my time, Councilman, I know you've been doing good, but it's not enough. We need to do more. The street lights, I'm going to hit you about that. Captain Lopez is doing the best he can. As we have the meeting, he did going to hit the street, but right now go to on the Leslie Street, on a Beverly, Cypress, Voorhees. I don't think anybody in that street, on that street, should get any code enforcement ticket. The prostitutes are taking over the streets. Go look at the ties and all garbage around that. Nobody can come and visit us because we don't have the power to do it. It's all abandoned building. Who is going to take care of this abandoned building? I hope this thing will send a message to all the landlords. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next speaker, Mr. Clerk.
Dion McCutcheon,
Not appearing.
Jimmy White,
I'm sorry?
Jimmy White, Gloria
Where's
Mills.
Jimmy White? Who is Jimmy White? Our list is,
You're using the old agenda. We gave you a new agenda this morning, and there was a mistake with Mr. White, and we put Ms. Wright on the agenda twice, but
I was going to say that.
Speaker number 20 should be Jimmy White.
not only that, Mr. Clerk, they've switched the addresses for both Mr. McCutcheon and Mrs. White. Who is the, yes, ma'am?
Gloria Mills, resident of Newark.
She's the next one.
Excuse me.
She's the next one.
Mr. Clerk,
She's the next.
I call Gloria Mills, yes, she's the next speaker.
I heard you say Gloria Wright.
No, that was Jimmy White.
Gloria Mills is.
Gloria Mills is the next speaker, speaker 21.
Gloria Mills?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, thank you.
Go ahead.
Gloria Mills.
Yes, ma'am. Go right ahead.
Resident of Newark.
Yes.
I hadn't planned on saying anything about Black history, but I will say that just to recall, in 1967, 1968, Stokely Carmichael gave a speech on 2 words, Black Power, which is the reason why all of you are here. Because it was thought that once we elected people who are black and brown, who look like us, that they would represent us. And that is not what we're seeing. I was shocked last year that the council got a 38% increase. And the mayor, whose father fought very hard for Black Power, is asking for a $50,000 increase in salary. So that's just my recollection of Black Power. I would like to talk about 2 things. Homelessness. Now, the last time I was here, I brought facts and figures about 37 people who died on the streets of Essex County. Primarily, the people were from Newark, and Councilman Quintana, You said that you were going to get in touch with Dr. Wade, and I haven't gotten any kind of response as to what were his findings or feelings about it or anything. But there was one person who was on that poster that I would like to mention, and that is, his name was Slim. Slim lived in his truck on South 10th and Springfield Avenue, and he was using a propane tank to keep warm. And one day there was an explosion, and he was killed in the explosion. So it just brings home the importance of dealing with the issue of homelessness. It is growing and growing throughout the city, actually throughout the country. But in December, Dr. Wade gave his plans for 2020. Nowhere in that plan does it say anything about housing. It talks about toilets being added outside, services to the organizations that already exist, nothing about housing. In 2018, I think it was, 12 schools that weren't being used were sold. Those buildings could have been used as a housing development for the homeless. So the priority has to be not to maintain people out in the streets, not giving toiletries. It's already been criminalized to ask for food, share food, making your own little tent outside, clean sweeps. They did a massive clean sweep about a month ago. Even though they moved all of the people's belongings, the police was there to monitor the traffic, the dump truck was there, the sanitation was there. There was no one there to offer services. That's right. All they did, and I talked to a police officer in Trenton, and he said the homeless have two things: their belongings and their dignity. And that is something that we are lacking, is giving people dignity even though they're homeless. That's right. I don't know if I have enough time to talk about the water crisis, but the water crisis still exists even though we're not talking about it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Mills. Next speaker, Mr. Clerk.
Colleen Fields.
Appearing.
Colleen Fields, 27 Foster, Newark, New Jersey. My subject matter for tonight is the black-on-black assassination of Trent, aide to Councilman Osborne. Councilman Osborne, I once looked up to you, and I thought you was the big black union guy that fought for black people jobs, and I take them. And I just got to say all of this stuff. Facts or fiction? Is it true that your chief of staff is double dipping? Is it true your chief of staff is your daughter? Why won't your daughter support the North Ward? Is it true that your daughter blatantly lied on Trent and tried to get him banned out of City Hall? Is it true that your chief of staff threatened your staffers every day, their jobs every day? Is it true that your daughter falsified timesheets? Is it true that your daughter also terminated Mickey and she never said anything about it? And it's a shame. And I done got off my paper and I'm deeply hurt because I don't know how you could terminate Trent when Trent donated thousands of dollars to your office on your behalf every year, and you know that. I don't understand what's going on, and I done got off my paper, but anyway, and what qualifies your daughter to be a chief of staff in the first place? Are you the councilman or your daughter? It's a shame. So I don't understand what's going on, and I also noticed that you sit on the Newark Housing Authority Board. You don't do anything to address the problems of the people, of the seniors or anyone, but you sit up there and you the House Negro for Victor, and you passing all these contracts, and it is a shame. And I don't understand. I mean, I don't understand. And we wonder why we keep going down. And I'm 66, well, be 66 April 13th, and I'm pulling up, and you're steady pushing us down. What the hell is wrong with y'all? What is really wrong? You know, and I used to respect you. When everybody, all the other people tried to tell me you wasn't as, I took up for you. I took up for you. But it's wrong. And your daughter got a no-show job, $50,000 a year. The taxpayers are paying for that. I mean, it's a no-show job. What is wrong? And you sit up there, and the other people know what's going on, and you say nothing. But you're loyal to each other. You should be loyal to Trent. That's a young black man that's trying to be about something. You know, so why would you tear him down? Why would you do that to Mickey? And Mickey was trying to feed the homeless and doing all kind of things. Why did you fire those people, Mr. Osborne? You fired the wrong one. You should have fired your daughter. I mean, it is a shame. It's just a shame, and it's very hurtful. And I'm a very black and proud woman, and I would do anything to uplift my people and uplift my black people. I'll try to uplift anybody, and everybody know that. So I don't understand what's going on here. And you took those raises, everyone up there. But I know one thing, my brother didn't take it. My brother, Ramosi over there, he don't drive no company car and all the things you're doing. His chief of staff said he didn't need a cell phone for the expense. You need to get yourselves together. You do. So why are we coming up here? I mean, I don't understand it. I don't understand it, Ms. Crump. You say your father was a sharecropper. You should do better. You really should do better. You know, and Ms. McIver, you the only one left standing, and I hope you don't mess up, and I got to denounce you too. You all I got. But I do appreciate you, and I see the fight in you. But I really, really do. And I'm just glad that Ms. Crump didn't turn the mic off on me, or didn't stick the cops on me. You're sticking the cops on us like we slaves. We ain't no runaway slaves. We ain't no runaway slaves. And I don't know, you talk about your mama, and y'all telling them, don't let her talk about Ambrose, and he done slapped me like a slave. It's a shame. Whoa, my God, I don't know, but anyway.
Thank you. Mr. Clerk?
Madam President, that concludes the list of speakers for this evening. The next hearing of citizens will take place at the public meeting of March the 4th, beginning at 12:30 p.m. here in the council chamber. To the regular agenda. Council of the whole to accept the reports and recommendations of the boards and commissions.
Yes. Yes.
I'm sorry, Mr. Clerk.
Reports and commissions.
Roll call.
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Ordinance on first reading. 6FA is an ordinance authorizing an option to renew a lease agreement between the Essex County Property Management Group, LLC, and the City of Newark Department of Health and Community Wellness for the outreach services program within the West Ward. Council of the whole to adopt.
Roll call, Mr. Clerk.
Yes, I have a statement after that, after the vote.
Issue?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yes. Next item, Mr. Clerk. I'm sorry,
Yes,
Councilman.
Yes, I just had a question this morning that I believe that since we have so many vacant buildings, that we should explore the possibility of avoiding paying rent and using our buildings.
Next item, Mr. Clerk.
Madam President, just real quick, we requested a list of all the leases that the city has, so just a reminder through your chair and the clerk to get that from the BA.
Yes?
Yes, sir. 6FB is an ordinance granting a 30-year tax abatement to the Central City Apartment Associates Urban Renewal LLC for a project to rehabilitate 13 affordable housing buildings commonly referred to as the Pueblo City, Center City 3, and Johnson Apartments, consisting of approximately 214 units located at 12-14 Pennsylvania Avenue, 17-19 Pennsylvania Avenue, 15 Thomas Street, 23, 25, and 27-39 Johnson Street, 20-30, 32-34, 46-54, and 60-74 Astor Street, 19-33 Mulberry Street, and 83-85 Brunswick Street.
Sponsor.
Do we have a second?
Second.
There's a second. Councilman Osborne.
Call.
Yes.
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 Yes. Next item, Mr. Clerk.
6FC is an ordinance amending Title 12 Flood Damage Prevention to promote the public health, safety, and general welfare of residents and businesses in the city of Newark as required in order to remain in compliance with the current National Flood Insurance Program regulations. Council of the Whole to adopt.
Roll call to adopt.
Yes.
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 Madam President, the ordinance adopted today on first reading will be advertised in accordance with law, and a public hearing will be held at the Public Council meeting of March 4th, beginning at 12:30 p.m. here in the council chambers. Ordinance on public hearing, second reading, and final passage. 6 PSNF-A is an ordinance authorizing and approving an amendment and a restated financial agreement originally approved by Ordinance 6 PSNF-G adopted on December 19, 2018, which approved and granted a tax abatement to 155 Washington Street Urban Renewal LLC for a project to construct approximately 220 market rate rental units, 4,000 square feet of office space, and 6,000 square feet of retail space located on property known as 141-149, 151-153, 155, 157-159 Washington Street. Is there anyone present that wishes to be heard on this ordinance?
No one appearing, Mr. Clerk.
No one appearing. I have a motion by Councilwoman MacGyver, second by Councilman Gonzalez to close the public hearing and adopt.
Roll call, please.
Oh, no.
Roll call.
Oh, no, we're deferring, we need to defer this to the meeting on the
I'm sorry.
25th.
Changes that we made.
Well, we need to make the amendments,
Yes.
and then we'll re-advertise. Council, the motion is to close the public hearing and amend.
Yes.
Roll call?
Yes.
MacGyver, Gonzalez.
Yes.
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 Yes. Now the same mover and second to adopt as amended.
Roll call, please.
MacGyver, Gonzalez.
Is there a problem?
Confusion. We're good. Roll call?
Yes.
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 Madam President, because we have amended this ordinance on second reading, we will re-advertise it for a public hearing at the Public Council meeting of March 4th, beginning at 12:30 p.m. here in the council chamber. Resolutions? Resolution 7R1A is an authorizing resolution for the Department of Administration for extension of an emergency contract to remove rubbish and cart away garbage. Council of the Whole to defer to the special meeting of February 25th.
He said he wanted to still vote on it.
Huh? Wait.
Well, what are we doing?
Yeah, I'm about to say, what are you doing as well? Mr. B.A., I thought we made a decision
I'm going to put it up for a vote.
this morning that we would, based on the information that was put before us, that we would take the vote. There was some levity going on while we were making that decision. But, Mr. Clerk, I do believe that the review is that
Motion
the first
is to
action would be to take the roll call and see what happens.
Council of the Whole to adopt.
Yes.
Roll call.
Abstain.
James?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
That gives me the opportunity to abstain. Thank you.
Sitting out there.
Abstain.
Abstain?
We still have 5 votes.
Yes.
Madam President,
Yes.
I just want to state on the record that this vote is not an affirmation of the work
Yes.
that's being done by this company as it relates to picking up the city's recycling. I think they're doing a terrible job. This particular contract, as the BA and the director explained to us, is really for the department to access equipment that they need until they're able to finally purchase the additional trucks and hire drivers. But we are having representatives from Basso come here on Tuesday to talk about all their lapse in services and complaints that we've been getting from residents, all over the city. So, just
I
wanna
did
state
speak
that on-
to the director following this afternoon's this morning's meeting, and he assured that if the resolution passed, there would be no negative repercussions coming from the company. So we'll see what happens, right, Mr. B.A.?
Madam President, let me make a quick statement. It's
no.
in terms, yes. in terms of my vote, I just want to make sure that we expedite the process of getting the trucks so that we don't have to extend this contract any more than we have to.
Yes. Thank you. Mr. Clerk,
7R2A.
to the next item.
7R2A is a ratifying authorizing resolution for the One Stop Career Center for a professional services contract to provide training in pre-high school and high school equivalency. 2B is a ratifying authorizing resolution for the One Stop Career Center for a professional services contract to provide training for Cisco certification. 2C is a...
Sponsor.
Second for B.
B, sponsor for B?
For B?
Sponsor, second.
Yes.
B?
Yes.
Yes.
2C is a authorizing ratifying resolution for a professional contract to provide training for youth development business. 2D is a ratifying authorizing resolution for the One Stop Career Center for a professional service contract to provide training in certified various medical professions. 7R2E is a ratifying authorizing resolution for the One Stop Career Center for a professional services contract to provide training for high school equivalency. 2F is a ratifying, authorizing, and amending resolution for the One Stop Career Center, amending Resolution 7R2B adopted on December 18, 2019, accepting a grant. This would allow the increased funding by $69,000. 2G is a ratifying, authorizing resolution for the One Stop Career Center for a professional services contract to provide training for youth career readiness through 7R2G. Council of the whole to adopt with the exception of the one.
Roll call, please.
Yes.
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 Yes. 7R3A is a authorizing resolution for the Department of Engineering for a refund of monies for construction permit fees. 2B is a authorizing resolution for the Department of Engineering for a refund of monies for construction permit fees through 7R3B. Council of the whole to adopt.
Roll call, please.
Yes.
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 7R4A is a authorizing resolution for the Department of Finance for stipulation of settlements for tax appeals. Council of the whole?
Roll call.
Yes.
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 7R5A is a ratifying authorizing resolution for the Department of Health and Community Wellness for an application and acceptance of grant funds to provide medical care and supportive services to the city of Newark surrounding areas. 7R5B is a ratifying authorizing contract with subrecipient to provides housing and assistance supportive services for persons with HIV/AIDS. 5B is Catholic Charities of the Archdiocese of Newark. 5C is also supportive services for AIDS and HIV for the County of Essex. 5D is also HIV/AIDS supportive service for the New Jersey AIDS Services, Inc. through 7R5D. Council of the whole to adopt.
Roll call, please.
Yes.
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 I'm yes on all, and I abstain on C, as in cat.
Yes.
7R6A is a authorizing resolution for the Department of Law for settlement of a workers' compensation claim. 6B is an ratifying authorizing resolution for the Department of Law for a professional services contract.
Roll call. Through 7R6B.
I'm told I missed something. I don't have a B. No. 20. Show me give me the copy.
Mr. Clerk, what's the problem?
Apparently, I am missing something on the agenda that I'm working with. Uh-oh. 7R4B is a ratifying authorizing resolution for the Department of Finance for stipulation of settlements for tax appeals through 4B.
We voted on that.
We did that
We
already.
voted on A. A is the same thing, B is an additional. Roll call. Roll call for 4B.
Yes.
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 Yes. Not gonna.
Yes again.
You were going to abstain?
I thought we,
7R6A is a authorizing resolution for the Department of Law for settlement of a workers' compensation claim. 6B is a ratifying authorizing resolution for the Department of Law for a professional services contract to provide bond counsel legal services through 7R6B. Council of the whole to adopt.
please roll call.
Yes again.
Yes again.
Yes.
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 Yes again.
7R8A are various recognizing and commending resolutions. 8B are various expressions of profound sorrow and regret. through 7R8B, Council of the Whole to adopt.
Yes.
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 To the added starter pages. 7R2H is a authorizing resolution to the Department of Economic and Housing Development for a home loan for the affordable, to grant financial assistance to a project consisting of 50 affordable housing units located in the South Ward redevelopment plan.
Sponsor.
Second. I was going to.
Oh.
That's okay, second.
Let's change that.
Yeah.
The council president be the sponsor, I'll be the co-sponsor.
Second, you'll be second?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. It's been going on too long.
7R2I is a authorizing resolution for the Department of Economic and Housing Development for the fiber sale and redevelopment to construct a 6-story, 50 residential unit senior citizens building with 18 parking spaces.
Sponsor.
Second.
7R2J is a authorizing resolution for the Department of Economic and Housing Development.
do the first.
Designating an area, designation of redevelopment entity. This would designate the Newark Housing Authority as a redevelopment entity in connection with the redevelopment of the property formerly known as Seth Boyden Terrace, and authorizing an application for approval of the same to the local finance board.
Sponsor.
Because you're going to
7R2K is a authorizing resolution for the Department of Economic and Housing Development for a loan agreement for 108 loan guarantee program. Through 7R2K, Council of the Whole with the exception of the two with sponsors. Roll call.
Madam President.
Roll call.
Just abstain.
Just abstain.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, to vote.
Yes.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
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 Yes, Mr. Clerk, it has been called to my attention that Councilman Osborne, as a commissioner, it's inappropriate. I see a hand nodding.
Goes back.
And so we need another seconder.
I'll second it.
So Councilman Quintana will replace.
I want to abstain from that vote.
He's abstaining
Jay.
because, I'm not
Because he
abstaining.
may have to
He's
vote
withdrawing.
for
Yes,
it at his board, so it's
Yes.
conflict.
absolutely.
Yeah, Madam
Thank you
President.
for calling that to my attention.
Yeah, Madam President, I didn't get a chance to ask this morning because I didn't had the backup to the added starter, but I know a few weeks back the deputy mayor announced that there would be an application process for the availability of home funds for various affordable housing projects throughout the city. And she doesn't have to answer it today, but is the $500,000 that we're committing for this particular project out of our current year's allocation, or is this an allocation from some repayments or prior years? And if it is out of this year's allocation, how much funding is actually now going to be available for those applicants that submit projects for your consideration?
Good evening.
Good evening.
Allison Ladd, Director, Economic and Housing Development. Regarding the question, the $500,000 is from previous year's allocations. For the current year, we will still have about $3 million available.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam President, if I may.
Yes, of course, Councilman
The
Gonzalez.
director for providing the information that I requested regarding the $5 million loan. She provided the use and the sources and uses of funds that clarify the question for me.
Madam President, I also want to thank the administration and EHG Director for working to make sure we have this project go forward. There's be 50 units for senior housing a senior only, which we are in need of in the city of Newark, especially the South Ward. And I also want to thank the Housing Authority Director, Victor Cirillo, for the Seth Boyden designation, and we're going to move forward to get that area redeveloped, which has been empty for a long time in the South Ward, and I look forward to working with you on improving that area.
Yep.
Okay.
7R12A is a authorizing resolution for the water sewer utilities for a bid contract for the South Street and Adams Street Drainage Improvements Contract.
Sponsor.
Do I have a second?
Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call.
Yes.
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 Yes, Mr. Clerk, not a suggestion, a request. We had 3 residents speak to the issue of this particular resolution. I have noted them on my agenda, and I would ask that this, the fact that we passed this particular resolution speaks to their request, that we let them know that we are responding.
Yes, ma'am. On communications, 8A is an ordinance designating the Invest Newark Land Bank entity for the city of Newark. Council of the whole to defer action to the special of February 25th.
Roll call to...
Which item, Mr. Clerk?
This is the 8...
Until 8...
Yes.
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 Yes to defer.
Yes.
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 Mr. President, if I may ask,
Councilman Gonzalez.
do we have the latest information on the Legistar?
Yes, the information in Legistar is correct. We met with the law
The
department
one
after
that we
this
have,
morning.
that
Yes.
that was transmitted is
Yes.
okay.
Madam President? Madam President?
Oh, yes, I'm sorry, Councilman.
No problem. And in preparation for Tuesday's meeting, I would like to see the administration be prepared to discuss the proposed funding agreement with Invest Newark, and more importantly, you know, how the city anticipates budgeting the money that Invest Newark is requesting to quote-unquote run the land bank, and if there are offsets. So if there are functions right now that the city's performing on our end that will now be performed by this third-party organization, are there cost savings that will be realized on the city side in order for us to be in a position to increase funding in order for Invest Newark to perform some of the duties that are identified as part of this agreement. So I'm looking for a very detailed discussion on Tuesday as it relates to the funding agreement with Invest Newark, and more importantly, how the city anticipates being able to afford the amount that they're requesting to run the land bank.
Yes.
Madam President, if
I'm glad you like that.
Madam President, if I may add to that, say the contract provides for 3 years. I would like to know what happens after 2022.
Mr. B.A.? Thank you.
On pending business, 9A is an ordinance granting a 25-year tax abatement to the 30 Clinton Urban Renewal LLC for a project to rehabilitate an existing 6-story building and create 20 market-rate residential rental units and 4,000 square feet of retail space at the request of the Councilwoman MacGyver, second by Councilman Quintana, to return to administration.
Roll call to return.
Yes.
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 9B is an appointment to the Commission on the Status of Women. Council of the Whole to return to administration.
Is Ms. Tago or Tago present? Oh, she said she wasn't.
She didn't come this morning.
No,
Oh, she wasn't.
I was asking whether or not she may have changed her mind, just in case. Roll call, continue the roll call.
Yes.
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 Yes, and this is to be returned.
Yes.
No. Like this, man. That light kills me.
No, that's not.
I think I'm in a ball. Light, it's
Madam President, I have a
sun.
pre-printed motion from Councilwoman MacGyver. This is an official request for the council to prepare a letter recommending to the New Jersey Department of Transportation for safety improvements along First Street at 280 Ramp, Sussex Avenue Connector Guardrail request. Council of the whole?
Yes, Council, is that your only motion?
Yes.
Yes, it's her only motion. Roll call.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Have no other pre-printed motions? Motions of the council?
Councilman Ramos.
Thank you, Madam
We'll
President.
start with you today.
Councilman Amador is in here. So at this morning's meeting, I mentioned through your chair about some of the calls that my office has been receiving regarding the adjustments that our assessor has made on a number of the value of properties that are owned by homeowners throughout the city. And I just want to thank the BA for extending the offer for my office to schedule a meeting with some of the affected property owners who have reached out to my office and the assessor. And I would just ask through your chair and the clerk that we get a date, preferably an evening, where the BA and the assessor are available so that I can notify the property owners who have been affected by the adjustments that the assessors made in assessed value, which have resulted in increases ranging from $3,000 a year. I just got a text I showed Councilman Quintana regarding a property owner who's potentially facing over a $5,000 increase in their property taxes based on these adjustments. So I just want to thank the BA for his offer. A few other motions. One is that we get a paving schedule or presentation from, I guess, the Department of Engineering related to paving that's connected to the lead service line replacement projects. There's a lot of work that has been completed. Many of these streets now are in pretty bad condition. And I know that part of the contract with the replacement of vendors is that they're supposed to conduct street paving after the lead service line work is completed. So I'd just like to know from the administration what the plan of action is, who's going to take the lead on that on our end. Is it water sewer, is it engineering? And if there is a schedule that's available, would you kindly share that schedule with us? A note to our police division and code enforcement regarding increased graffiti activity in some of our business corridors. You know, I have a lot of reports related to increase in graffiti activity, especially on Broadway, between Montclair Avenue and Elwood. The city, I don't think, is in a position now where they abate, graffiti, but they are supposed to notify and potentially fine private property owners. They have to clean up their graffiti within a certain period of time. And I'd like to make sure that our code enforcement folks are doing that right now, because we are noticing an activity which we haven't seen in years at this point. We recently awarded a contract to a number of vendors to do the tree and tree stump removals, and I'd like to see if there's a list available from the administration by ward to see which addresses or locations are going to be prioritized as part of this contract. We've reported a number of these requests on behalf of our residents, and I'd just like to see if the list that the department is going to generate for these vendors actually captures some of the requests that we have submitted to the BA's office and to the director of that department. And last but not least, I know someone today talked a little bit about the properties that Newark Public Schools sold some years back through the Newark Housing Authority. And I'd like to submit a request to the Board of Ed and also to the Newark Housing Authority to see what the status of those sales are. Have any of those properties closed? Are there projects that have been approved in connection with those school buildings that have been sold? And if there are sales that fell through, you know, what are the plans that the Board of Ed has related to those buildings? And that's it, Madam President.
That's it? Your second?
Second.
Roll call, Mr. Clerk.
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Councilman Quintana.
Council, to the council and to the administration, we can send a motion to Passaic Valley. The motion is that we would like a full presentation of the $400-some million that are being spent on the flood wall that is going to, the project that's taking place. And there should be a presentation. So we can, to correspondence, get some to the executive director of Passaic Valley and the chair. The other matter is also on the bills, presentation on billing. Folks have been coming before us. So as a commissioner, I can do something, but if we have a motion, then we can have this kind of meeting where we should have some kind of town meeting to discuss, A, the flood wall during Sandy. The FEMA has issued and has given almost $400-some million to build a wall which will help the flooding situation in the East Ward and especially the Ironbound. On the other note, I would like to see if the traffic and signals and through the business administrator, if on Lafayette Street, from the arena down, we can put signs that say parking at no time, towing will be done. Last night, there were 13 trailers for a concert. And some lady was just coming out, and she didn't see the trailer. She almost got it because he was going back on reverse. And again, this is not, Madison Square Garden does not allow a truck to be in front of Madison Square Garden. It's not permitted. It's towed. Or these truck companies that come to do events here at the arena, or they find a designated place that they could put these 18-wheelers, but they don't look good on our streets. So we need, I've been saying this for years and time now, we have to put signs that say, and if those trucks stay there, then we must utilize the city ordinance that says we will tow that trailer. We can't. We have done it for other people who park their trailers in neighborhoods, and we told them. So there's no reason why we can't have no parking at any time. I mean, if they want to put these trailers, unload what you have, what the equipment may be for the concert or whatever event. But listen, you can't leave those trucks right there. It's an eyesore, it looks horrible, and it's not an image that we should be having. So I'm requesting that we follow the ordinance on no parking at any time on Lafayette Street, on both sides of that street. And on the other note, too, what Councilman Raymond was talking about, the graffiti, we can also, to the U.S. Postal Service. There's a lot of Postal Service mailboxes that are graffitied, and they have been around for a while. So if now the spring is coming, so if the U.S. Postal Service can go out and paint some of these mailboxes that have graffiti, they do. And that's important. To New Jersey Transit, also, Councilman, these shelters, some of them have graffiti, some of them are horrible. The lights don't even work in half of these shelters. Or you take them down and no more graffiti and no more lights, because it's just an eyesore. That's it.
Second.
Second.
Yes.
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 I don't have
Councilman
no
Osborne.
motions, but I just want to make a comment or have the clerk's office follow up with New Jersey Transit on, it's like the third time we asked about the graffiti on the bridges along the Orange Street area. It's getting worse and worse. So I know we put in a motion a while back to see if they can do something about it. That's it.
Second.
Roll call.
Yes.
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 Yes. Councilman Callum.
I have a couple. I want to give condolences to two great Newarkers. Excuse me. Firstly, Ezra Eady went to his funeral last Thursday. He was deacon at New Point Baptist Church for many, many years. And also he was a treasurer at my Masonic Lodge, Alpha Lodge 116, for many, many years. So I want to give condolences to his family. And also John Shaka Taylor, Judge Taylor. Me and Council President was at his funeral Monday, and we presented a resolution on behalf of the council. As you know, he was the chief public defender currently, and he has been a municipal judge and a great community person, and he has a great Westwater. So I want to give condolences to his family. Also, more office, we've been working on a Curb Your Dog and garbage ordinances. You know, one of the problems, we get a lot of complaints about rodents in the West Ward. And so we've been going to community meetings, we've been presenting some literature and the ordinance to the residents. Because we'll never get a grip on the rodents if we continue to put the garbage out without covering the garbage, not putting the garbage out correctly. So, you know, I want to inform the residents that we will be strictly enforcing it in the West Ward and throughout the city, because it's only right. And also to Curb Your Dog. Many people, I know especially in the West Ward, they walk their dogs and they don't have the bag. They don't have the little poop bags. And so we're going to be strictly enforcing that. It's about quality of life. And, you know, so we are really paying a lot of attention, working closely with code enforcement moving forward. So we just want to let the residents know that we'll be observing and we will be ticketing and court appearances if you don't do the right thing. So that's all I have.
Second.
Roll call, Mr. Clerk.
Yes.
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 Yes. Councilman James.
Good evening. I'd like to thank Pastor Phil Gilmore from the St. John's Community Church for hosting a community conversation about Newark Police Division's compliance with the consent decree. It was very well attended, over 200 people. Upcoming events. Newark Department of Public Works Community Meeting is going to be on March 2nd at George Washington Carver Elementary School. It's going to be from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. They're going to discuss everything regarding recycling, waste pickup, sanitation. If you have any further questions, reach out to the Department of Public Works at 973-733-3644. Also, on Tuesday, March 31st, I'll be having a town hall meeting for South Ward Districts 3 and 47. That's going to be from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m., 83 Elizabeth Avenue. That's Fellowship Missionary Baptist Church. All are welcome, and light refreshments will be served. And most importantly, my monthly community meeting is going to be on March 21st, 9 to 11, 400 Hawthorne Avenue at the Tech Center. All are welcome. Thank you.
Second.
Roll call. Got a bunch of seconds.
Yes.
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 Yes. Councilman Gonzalez.
Today I went to a restaurant for lunch, and they had been issued 3 tickets for not having a license, for payroll and another one. These individuals have submitted all the paperwork to the city, but the city has not issued them the license to operate. So is that the way that we are going to try to attract businesses to the city of Newark? Let's say we have to do better. I believe that if we are not issuing the licenses, the inspectors cannot go there and issue tickets, because these people, let's say, submit all the paperwork, the trade waste permit, everything that they required, it was submitted, and they were issued 3 tickets. The lady now has to come to City Hall to present all the information, all the evidence that she has. It's a waste of time for everybody involved. The second one is in terms of graffiti. I believe that we should also, in addition to requiring the people to clean the graffiti, we have to have more an effort into avoiding that the graffiti be written. Let's say there is a building on Broadway, a new building that has a ton of graffiti, and the building hasn't been opened yet. The one that they just opened for the dollar something. Yeah, and I'm telling you, all the walls in that building are full of graffiti without the building being open for business. So I believe that enforcement has to be expedited, enforcement has to be enforced, because otherwise we're going to have to penalize the owners of the building for something that they don't have any responsibility for, or they're not liable for.
There should be some, Council, there should be some community service. Years ago, there was community services. That if people were found, they would have to come here on a Saturday in the parking lot where the new parking deck is, and they would have to go out and clean some of that graffiti. And there is people out there. And then we should have some kind of reward for someone who identifies someone doing graffiti.
Yeah, well, the businesses, most of the businesses have cameras. And I suppose that if they can provide photos to the police should do a more strenuous work in trying to identify who these people are, who these artists are, because the city looks really bad, horrible, when we have all this graffiti around.
Yeah, Madam President, could I just want to add something. Councilman made a very important motion related to the small businesses in the city. And the fact is that we've encountered like a bunch of examples where city goes in, issues summonses, and in many of these instances, the businesses have applied for these various licenses, and it's really our inefficiency within city government that creates the problem. And then, these poor people are being penalized twice. They're applying for a license that they don't get months after, and then secondly, they're being required to show up to court for a summons that they should have never gotten in the first place. And for whatever reason, we can never seem to get this together. And it's a problem that's been here for many years. It predates even this administration. And I think part of it is that we just require too many little licenses. If you run a restaurant or bodega, or you literally have to apply for 10 or 12 different licenses, everything from selling ice to milk. And it's a process that we have to figure out a way to consolidate. I believe a lot of these businesses would be willing to pay even more if they were required to come to City Hall less, and if we were able to follow up whenever they request these licenses. I know in the fire division, the problem has been that we don't have enough fire inspectors to do the actual visits. And that's something we have to figure out. I mean, it's been a problem for a while, and it's just creating major hardships for businesses that are already struggling.
Madam President, someone downstairs said licensing. Someone in licensing said to a constituent,
yes,
go see your councilman, the city council, because they pass all these ordinances and et cetera, and we have no direction. So someone downstairs said that. I will give it to you. I don't want to throw names in on microphone. I really don't like to do that, but if I have to, I would. But the person said that to that constituent. Go and have your council persons make sure that the ordinance that they're passing, they're in compliance. That's what was said. But when the person came back to me, it was a jewelry store, and they sell jewelry and et cetera, and they want a license, but they were fined. So when they came to the city, person said downstairs, the special taxes, we can't give it to you because the council's not clear on that whole ordinance. So again, there has to be, someone downstairs is dropping the ball.
Before we vote, let me bring another example. Let's say somebody was, we have the water going house to house, and the house was kept. The person calls me, I call City Hall, give the information to one of my aides. The person goes down to zoning, and the person in zoning says, he says, I'm coming here from the Councilman Gonzalez, and we need some information on this property. And the person in zoning says, it will cost you $25 for the information. So let's say we have to row in the same direction if we want the city to move forward. We cannot be rowing in different directions and expect the city to move forward. I believe that we're here to provide services, and sometimes we are not doing the best in providing those services. And it's a shame that we have to even discuss these minor issues here.
Thank you. Mr. Clerk, roll call on
We
Council.
have a second, John seconded. Yes.
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 Yes. Last night, Councilwoman McIver and myself attended a meeting hosted by Deputy Mayor Jackie Aquiles and her staff. The subject of the meeting is critical.
The census.
Yes, it's critical. It's the census. There are many people who do not understand how important the census is. It's only taken every 10 years. But within the 10-year period, there are maintenance requirements so that at the end of the 10th year and the beginning of the next count, the distribution of services as well as funding depends on where you are. Newark has had the honor of being the largest city in the great state of New Jersey. And as a result, there are certain perks that have been awarded to us based on the fact that we are number one. I do believe I'm safe in saying that there is another city nearby that is working furiously. One of their council members is my girlfriend, and they are working furiously to become number one in the state. I'm just going to give you one example of how important being the largest municipality in any state, actually, but we're talking about New Jersey. Based on the census count, we could lose a congressman who now occupies a seat. What happens is, if we lose that status, we get lumped into other territories. So I need to say, for those of you who have said to me, oh, Mildred, you know, it's not really that important. Yes, it is. And so the mayor thank goodness, understands how important it is, but the deputy mayor and her staff are doing the very best. There were, I guess I should say, there were some opportunities for employment. I don't know if that's going to extend beyond March the 11th or 12th, when we really kick into high gear. But I say to every Newark resident who is watching this proceedings, I beg you, we all beg you, to make certain that everyone who lives in your house, and that includes babies and infants, young children, those who are infirm, because it matters. The census is all about counting bodies. I would hate to wake up at the end of the count to find that we are no longer number one. We're a number one city anyhow. We just utilize our status to reap the benefits of being the largest city. We're asking all pastors, all organizations, community-based, to make sure, even the homeless, that everyone is counted, because it does make a difference. Todas contamos.
Todos contamos.
Was that all right? Did I do okay? I practiced. So todos contamos thanks a lot. Also, Councilman McCollum just reminded me, for those of you who are tech savvy, please go to the website and you will get the information that you need to make to keep us number one in the state. That's number one. Condolences to the family of Yvette Glover, the mother of Savion Glover, and the cousin / brother to Dr. Albert J. Lewis. Her service is going to be held at Bethany Baptist Church. If you would like to have some more information, please see me at my office. I want to thank Councilman McCallum for mentioning the service for Shaka Taylor. I didn't call him John. I called him by his adopted name. He was a dear soul in the building right down the street. And at an appropriate time, we will be doing a street naming in his honor. Yes. And thank you. I just want to respond to something that was said during the meeting. For those of us who are real veterans, sometimes it's difficult to tolerate the abuse that we take. But guess what? It's what we do. It's what happens in Trenton. It's what happens in Washington. It happens all over the world. But I do want to respond to the comments. One person said that we are held responsible for the behavior of our children. No, we're not. We're not social workers. We are legislators. Our job is to legislate and to address the issues that impact the quality of our lives in our communities. Parents and family members, they have the joy and honor and privilege of maintaining a level of decorum for their children and for their families. I fully and respect freedom of speech. I remember what it was like when I was on that side of the podium, speaking about issues that were of importance. Well, I was never disrespectful, but I'm not going to say anybody was I better stop right there, right, Mr. B.A.? However, we do, for those of you who are watching and who stop me in ShopRite and say, how do you and why do you, there is something called freedom of speech. And it is not ours, as we know as a legislative body, not to impede and to get in the way of freedom of speech. That's it.
Second. Madam President, before we vote, there was another comment about the 38% increase in our salaries. And,
oh, yes.
And I believe that the BA should explain that there was not 38% increase in salaries, because if you were making 83,000 and now are making 90 something, it's like 10%, 15%. So the 38% computation has been repeated many times, and it's totally incorrect. And I believe that the record should be set that whatever information they're providing is not right.
You know, Mr. Clerk, just 2 more minutes, council members. And I'm so glad you brought that up. Number one, we haven't had a raise in what, 13 years? Was it 13 years? And the reason I mention that is because those persons who come to us, they want us to support their events, everything that we can think of. And that money doesn't come out of the sky. It comes from this huge amount of money that people think we make. If you could see our tax returns, you would be amazed at how this huge salary that we're supposed to have, that we use for ourselves, we actually use it for our community. So for those of you who misunderstand and want to proclaim, remember that the next time you come before us and say we're having a block party, it doesn't come out of the sky. It comes out of our salary.
Second.
Thank you. That's it. Yes. Roll call.
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Council of the whole to adjourn?
Roll call.
Yes.
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 Good night.